many 100,000 good nights to you, dearly beloved daughter Veronica. Innocent have I come to this place. Innocent have I been tortured. Oh, now, innocent must I die. For whoever comes into this dreadful witch's prison must become a witch, or else God pity them. They will be tortured until they confess to it and bethink themselves of it. Let me tell you what has happened to me since first I was put to the torture. When I was first brought here, my brother-in-law, your uncle, Dr. Brown, his friend, Dr. Katzendorfer, and two strange doctors whom I did not know were in attendance. Kinsman, said Dr. Brown, how come you here? Through falsehood, I said. Through misfortune, I said. Hear you, he chided me. You are a witch. Will you now not confess of your own free will? Or must we summon the witnesses and have the torture stand ready for you? And I said, I am no witch. I am a good and honest man. I have a clear conscience in this matter. And even if you had 1,000 witnesses, I would gladly face them. I am not afraid. And with that, they brought the first of the witnesses, the Chancellor's son. And such things did he say about me, that I demanded that he be sworn in and cross-examined. This was denied. And then his father, the Chancellor, Dr. George Hahn, and his story matched his son's. And then our house servant, Hopfen Elsa, who swore she saw me dancing upon the Hauptmoors, naked with other witches and demons. And Brown said, you have heard the testimonies. Will you now not confess, or must we turn you over to the torturer? And again I said, I am an innocent man. I have never renounced God, and God spare me, I never shall. And I will endure whatever I must. I will stake my life upon this. And God, as high as heaven, they gave me to the torturer. And I was stripped, and poked, and prodded, and beaten. And when they saw the blemish I had borne on my right hip since the day of my birth, that was all they needed to convince them. They then took my hands and bound both of them, and applied the screws to each thumb. And when they turned them, blood spurted from beneath my fingernails and everywhere, so that my hands were ruined, and I could not use them properly for 4 weeks, as you can see by the writing of my letter. And Brown said to me, will you not confess? And by God's grace did I hold my silence. Next I was taken to a bench, and they applied the boot. And when they turned the cranks, I could feel my legs cracking with thinking. And the pain was great. And again, by God's judgment and grace, did I hold my tongue. And Brown said to me, will you now not confess? And again, by God's grace, did I hold my silence. And when they released me, I could not walk, I could not even stand. I was then dragged to a block, and my hands were down behind me this time, and I was hoisted up to the drum. 8 times did they do this to me. I was, heaven and earth were at an end. And Brown said, when will you ever confess? And I said to him, may God have mercy on you for how you have tortured and abused a just and innocent man. And he spat on me and called me a knave and a liar. All this was done on Friday, the 30th of June, when I was taken back to my cell. The jailer said this to me, my good sir, I beseech you, tell them something, tell them anything. For they do not concern themselves with matters of the truth. And you will not endure the tortures they will put you through. And even if you should endure them, you will not be spared, for your title is meaningless. No one is spared, not even if they were an earl. For one torture will follow after another, until you have confessed to being a witch. Only then will they relent, for you have seen the trials, and one is like another. And then Dr. Han came to my cell and he told me that my case had been taken by the commissioners to the Prince Bishop himself. And he said I was to be made such a spectacle of that all who saw me would be aghast. So I begged for a priest and a day of thought to be given. For I thought if I had a priest, I could take counsel and I would know what to say, what to answer. But the priest was denied me. But the day of thought was granted. So now, my child, you see what terrible plight I was in. I must say I am a witch. I am not. I must say that I have renounced God, but God spare me, I never would. Then the thought came to me. Better I confess with my own mouth and my own words, and I would not be afraid. And I would later confess this to a priest and tell him it was all lies. I said to spare myself further torture, but I was afraid I could not endure. And he could tell me how to deal with the people who put me through such compulsion. And this, my child, is what I told them. I said that a year ago, sitting in my orchard, contemplating a lawsuit which had cost me 500 guilders, a maiden approached me and she said to me, "My good sir, why are you troubled?" I said, "I am not troubled." And she smiled and looked at me and then turned into a great black goat and in a bleating voice said, "Do you see now who you trot? You will join us or I will break your neck." I was so afraid. And she gave me a new name and said it was to be Krix, and that she was called Vixen, and that I would be given a charm to destroy my enemies, and I would be able to summon a great black dog to ride to the Sabbaths. And then Brown said to me, "And tell us, who did you recognize at the Sabbath?" I said, "I recognize no one." "Liar! You will answer me. When I say, did you see the Chancellor at the Sabbath? You will say yes. Now, did you see the Chancellor at the Sabbath?" Yes. "Who else did you see?" "I recognize no one." "Take him into the city. Start at the marketplace. Take him up one street and down another. And have him point out those whom he recognized." So I was taken out into the streets at the marketplace. Then up the long street, 3 more people. Then down the street to the Sittenberg, 2 more. Up the overbridge to the Gorgidor and down, another one. And when I said I would not do this any longer, they could not make me. I was taken back to the prison, and I was given to the torturer, and I was beaten, and I was shaved all over. And Brown said, "The old devil knows one with whom he converses daily. He will not name him. Shall we set the torturer on you?" And I knew they meant my friend Herr Dietermeyer. Not to name him too. And Brown said, "What evil did you do at the Sabbath?" I said, "I did no evil." "You will tell us, or shall I send you to torture?" And I said that I was to kill my children, but I killed one of my horses instead, and I brought the blood to the Sabbath. And Brown said, "What else did you do?" I swear, nothing, I swear. "Hoist the old devil up! No, no!" I stole a wafer from the church, and he found it, and abused it at the Sabbath. When I said that, they left me in peace. So now, my child, you see why I said what I said, what I had to do to avoid the further tortures which I could not bear any longer. For no one is spared, not even if they were an earl. Child, the 6 who confessed against me, they all begged my forgiveness before they were taken to be executed. They said it was all lies, that they were made to do so under compulsion just as I, and that they knew only good of me. Veronica, keep this letter hidden, for if it is found on you, it will put you and our family into great peril. And the jailer who has befriended me will be beheaded, and his family will be tortured, and I will be tortured more piteously. For that is how things are done here. That is how strictly they are enforced. Child, I have sworn you would pay this man a guilder, for he has taken great risk to deliver this to you. Farewell. Your father, Johannes Junius, will never see you again.